Tusikubali kutenganishwa na siasa, tujirushe kwa mashimo, miaka 5, miaka 10, tuishi tukiregret kama watu wa Mount Kenya.
I listened to one of us argue that this country is likely to be taken to Paris, that we are likely to default in debt payment. That is irresponsible statement.
I know. Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
kutoka vijijini, mijini hadi jijini. Hii ni Sound County Talk Live.
Greetings to you all. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound County Talk, Open Forum Political Discussion Show, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, a lot is taking place in this country that leaves a lot to be desired in the hearts and in the minds of Kenyans. Well, as we were hoping that the IEBC will be reconstituted and probably hit the road in getting things working as far as election processes are concerned in the country, that expectation has been thwarted by 2 Kenyans who have taken the matter to court, that the nominees settled on by the panel and submitted to William Ruto. And William Ruto now shortlisted them and handed them over to the parliament for vetting. That process has been halted by a court petition that seeks to ensure that the putting together of an electoral body needs to be in strict adherence to the rule of law. And therefore, all the lapses and all the loopholes and, of course, many games that went at play in settling down on that list of the nominees is now in the open, and everyone must be scrutinized. And therefore, I invite you as a Kenyan, what is your take at these delaying tactics to frustrate the processes of getting people re-elected or elected, or what is at play? Is it politics, or it is really violation of the law that needs to be straightened out? I need to hear what you think about the same. And of course, as that petition is being entertained at the High Court, there is also another landmark ruling from the courts that bars and, rules out that the government should not in any way interfere with the internet and the distribution of the same, regardless of what they feel about what is going on online. You remember that spirited demolition by Atuoli, that there needs to be a regulation of the social media and otherwise. So wherever a case was placed and the ruling has been given, the government should keep their hands off the manipulation of the internet or the attempt to switch it off simply because they fear that the Kenyan will share information that may put their twisted leadership at risk. I believe it's an important reality of our constitutional provision that the liberties we have constitutionally should be retained, supported, and facilitated by the regime at hand. Any regime that seeks to curtail, cajole, or in any way frustrate the operation of the freedoms of the Kenyan people should be faced with the same force in ensuring that they either govern us with our liberties or leave governance alone, because this constitution has a reason why it is in existence, and one of the reasons is to safeguard each and every Kenyan, especially in their Bill of Rights and all manner of freedoms that are covered within that particular framework. So there is no shutting down of the internet, not by the government, not by any person who feels that the social media is too much. A very important ruling that we'll also be ventilating on. Well, the latest from the church, the Bishop of Muranga has rejected gifts from member of county assembly, 50,000 Kenya shillings, a goat, and some other livestock. And he says, your number one responsibility as a political leader is to the masses, is not to go and bribe the church leaders and try to endear yourself to the church leaders so that through the church leaders, you may endear yourself to the electorate. So he says, go and take care of the blind, take care of the widows, take care of the poor in the society. Stop the aspect of trying to go and bribe the church to make you look good when you actually look bad. Well, not in the exact words, but you will be looking at that story again, even as the church seems now to be careful about the gifts that politicians are hawking around in the pretext that they want to build the church. Well, and of course, mambo ni mengi, lakini tutazungumzia hayo kwa leo. We'll also look at the outcry out there about the abducted people that are still missing today. The government is still speaking from both sides of their mouth. The sad, sad reality that the Minister of Internal Security goes on television to talk about 100+ people were missing. Now 13 are missing. Even if half a person is missing, that is not a matter to be tolerated. It's not a matter to be condoned. We must, as a people, rise up and secure this country completely. Each and every Kenyan matters, and each and every Kenyan needs to be safe under the government. And so all those who are trivializing the disappearance of our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, our mothers, that need not to be trivialized. And especially when government officials are doing that, it hurts deeply. And so as a people, we cannot take that anymore. So let's rise up and do the necessary, and that is call this government to order. Each and every Kenyan matter, and any disappearing Kenya needs to be located. And those holding people in custody, wherever, for whatever reason, in terms of people not being, if they have committed anything, the law says they should be produced before the judge in 24 hours. You cannot hold them and, keep them forever. That is against the law. And that in itself makes it criminal. Therefore, I think don't let families continue to cry and mourn over their loved ones who you are holding in custody, and procedurally, and constitutionally, and illegally. How do you refer yourself as a government or as a government official when you are leading in the violation of the law and the violation of the Constitution? It is time you owned up. Just let go, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers of people you are in power. So what is threatening you? Well, as much as the government is spirited in denying its involvement, the more they deny, the more they implicate themselves. And therefore, we should just call them to what they are. Let them own up and be able to rectify what has gone wrong. Well, thank you so much for choosing to be part of our show, Sound Candid Talk Open Forum. Please make sure that you are an extension of what you're doing right here, right where you are. Share the link widely, get more people to join. TikTok, thank you so much for joining from wherever you are. Please, as soon as you join, like the video and share the live. Invite more people to join. Let's all gang up and make a difference today as we face and deal with every matter at hand, because we cannot continue with business as usual. Well, thank you so much. As you join, invite somebody to join, and then, of course, participate into the poll question. We're asking whether Ruto requires should reduce the number of advisors. There's also an abnormal budget that has been presented in Parliament seeking payments, or rather remuneration for the president's advisors. And that budget, according to some clip I was sent here by Innocent, is more than the county government, is more than some very special key sectors in the country. It is unbelievable that we have somebody working as an advisor and he's being paid more than what is supposed to be allocated to the counties. No, we must interrogate this and, of course, to the bottom of everything as they ought to be. So welcome on board as we start the conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Please be an extension of what you're doing here right where you are. Share the link widely, get more people to join. Thank you so much. Tuanze na hiyo story ya petition ya IEBC ili tuelewanwe hapa, kisungumukuti kishaingia. Na hapa ndio tumesema kila mara, msipofuata sheria ni msumeno, inakata mbele na nyuma, itakunasa tu. Na niliwonya hayo maneno. Hakuna haja ya kwenda kuroga IEBC mapema tu kabla ya uchaguzi. Mbona unataka kuingiza dosari huko kabla hata watu hawajapitishwa wakaingia kwa ofisi? Wewe kama sio mchawi ni nini? Why would you want to corrupt the system that is supposed to stop corruption in election? And you still want us to believe that you intend well for this country? Something is wrong with us. And the earlier we realize that, the better. That we want to corrupt the teachers before they teach our children. Want to corrupt the police before they take care of our security. What's wrong with us? Well, as we think about that, let's look at this petition and see whether it's valid or not. I know there are those who are thinking that it's just normal politics, but to me, if a question mark is placed on IEBC, that question must be settled before anything else is done. Let's hear this. We'll go for the issues to be discussed on the bench later. The High Court has certified as urgent a petition filed and which seeks to bar the nominees to the IEBC from attending approval hearings in Parliament or taking the oath of office. Kelvin Roy Omondi and Boniface Mwangi have moved to court to block the National Assembly and the Chief of Staff and the Head of Public Service, Felix Koskei, from proceeding with the process of reconstituting the electoral body. Here's Stephen Leto with that report.
The road to having a new IEBC has hit a hurdle, with two Kenyans moving to the High Court seeking the indulgence of the courts to have the process halted. In the petition, Kelvin Omondi and Boniface Mwangi argue that the nominations do not meet the requirements of Articles 10, 27(1), 232 and 253 and 4 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which call for regional balance, ethnic inclusivity and the inclusion of persons with disabilities. The petitioners have further told the court that certain names were subsequently, in an opaque and in unclear circumstances, sneaked in as having been shortlisted and they were subsequently interviewed by the now defunct IEBC selection panel in very unclear circumstances. The court papers noted that the selection is not based on merit, as some of the candidates did not achieve high scores in the interviews, and some have integrity issues, while other candidates were irregularly added to the shortlist, thus compromising the process and inviting the court's sanction. Before High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi, the petitioners in their prayers told the court that the nominations contravene the Constitution in that they are not representative of Kenya's diverse communities, adding that it exclude other ethnic communities and persons with disabilities, and were selected without any prior consultation with the opposition political parties as required under the National Dialogue Committee report and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Act of 2024. Parties are being directed to file their responses by close of business Thursday, and a virtual hearing on the petition scheduled on Friday. Stephen Letos.
Haya, karibu tena. Mambo ni kama hayo. Hivyo ndio Kenya yetu ipo. Watu waishi vituko haswa kwa masuala ambayo yako wazi na yanahitaji uwazi. So IEBC tena imefikiwa mahala ambapo haitaweza kuanza kazi mpaka kesi isikizwe na uamuzi utolewe. Mama Mary, siku nyingi. Vipi lakini?
Thank you, Bernard. Nice to see you. Yeah.
Nice to hear you again. Karibu sana.
Asante. I think for a while I have not been feeling well, even now, but at least I can breathe well and I can air out my words towards my beloved country, Kenya. Nakusalimia sana, Bernard. Nice to see you and nice to hear your voice. Kenya yetu ni Kenya
Amina.
Maridadi, ndio. Na Mungu anapenda hiyo inchi. That is why we still have it. Otherwise, huyu mtu ametuumiza vikali. And you know, Ruto has not been there for a good accord for our country. Yeye ni survivor. Hiyo siku ikiisha anasema ole wake. Anasema hiyo siku imepita. Wacha sasa nifikirie mambo ile nitafanya kesho. Ruto has nothing good for Kenya except for himself. And there is nothing wrong or something very, very serious for a country to have somebody like that. Mtu ambaye hajali maslahi ya watu, anajali tu maslahi yake. That means yeye anakaa kama mwewe ambaye akikuja chini anachukua kifaranga. Hajui huyo kifaranga mama yake amemtunza how long. Mama yake anasikia uchungu, and that is exactly who is Ruto. And what I have come to see is that Ruto does not believe in God. I'm sorry to conclude this. That is my own opinion. He does not respect God at all. Ruto ana respect ile mambo inaenda mzuri kwa upande yake. That's all. He does not believe in God, because if he believes in God, many things that he has said about people's life, he would not be talking about. If he is that godly man of who believe that God is the creator, surely all those evil things he has done to people, innocent people, he would not have committed. Na hii mambo ameongea juzi imeniweka uchungu mwingi sana kwa mwili wangu. Kuimagine ati unasema ati wale watoto ambao walikuwa wamepotea walirudishiwa watu wao salami. Can he just first of all think what he is talking about? Does he know how many parents are going through pain and suffering right now? They don't know where their children went. Up to today, they don't know where their children are. Unafurahisha huyo mzungu ndio akufanyie nini? Atarudi atoke hapo aende kwao pahali iko furaha na hajaua watu wao. Lakini wewe Ruto, umeua watoto wetu, umeua watu wetu, and yet you want to sanctify yourself in front of a foreigner. Mtu ambaye haishi hata Kenya. Unataka kumdanganya ndio sisi tufanye nini? Why can't you tell us the truth where the children went? Tell us the truth what you did with the lives of our children. Wacha kuongea mambo ambayo umeitafuna, unajaribu kujirekebisha na hakuna kitu ambacho unafanya. You are just making it even more worse on your face. Ruto is not a leader. Ruto is not somebody who should be depended on for a country like Kenya. Kenya ambapo watu ni wa Kristo, watu ni wanapendana, watu wanapenda peace, but Ruto has come to destroy that peace. I don't think Ruto, all these days that he has been in politics, he had meant good. Kila pahali ameenda, ebu mchunguze, lazima kuwe na nduru. Anywhere that he was assigned, lazima kuwe na nduru. So this guy ni mtu mchafu, ni mtu mbaya, ni mtu hana haja na maisha ya wale wengine isipokuwa yake. So for me, I'm so worried. Kenyans, where are you? Get up. Let's take our own hands up and say we don't want this guy. Let's take our authority. We are the Kenyans. We are the owner of Kenya, not Ruto. Ruto is an individual ambaye yeye hajali maslahi ya watu wale wengine. And I'm shocked ati sasa bado anatengeneza habari ya IEBC. Impeleke wapi? We are the people who will choose our president. We are the people who are suffering. We are the people who have lost our children. Si yeye. Na kusema kweli, mtu ambaye hajawahi kusikia uchungu anaweza endesha nchi kwa njia mbaya sana. Because I don't think Ruto has ever, I don't know whether he has ever lost a family member in whichever way. Hii mambo ambayo wananchi wa Kenya wameendea due to his carelessness. So for me, I'm saying Kenyans, rise up. Please think twice. Think about your country. Forget about Ruto. Ruto will take us nowhere. He is just enjoying his own life. And you can imagine somebody dancing when others are crying. Huyo si mtu mzuri hata kidogo. Kiongozi ni yule ambaye anajali maslahi ya watu wake, ndio aendelee kuwasaidia. But this one is just a youngster who doesn't care, who doesn't even get worried of whoever soul they lose, kwa sababu si watoto wake. Kwa hivyo Wakenya, ndugu zangu, amkeni, wacheni kulala. Huyu mtu aondoke asubuhi na mapema aende zake. Kwa hivyo Bernard, mimi nasema Wakenya wafikirie vizuri, wajue hawana kiongozi isipokuwa ni mnyama ambaye ako kwa ofisi. I don't care what IEBC is trying to bring. What time is he bringing this IEBC? What for? What happiness do we have to have IEBC? Niliona mzee mwingine hapo alisema yeye atapiga kura na kuchukua picha. He don't depend on IEBC. And Kenyans, we have the right to stand our lines and say, this is our president. We don't want this other hooligan. He is so bad that Kenya will deteriorate until we will never be heard anymore. Kwa hivyo Wakenya, ndugu zangu, tushikane pamoja, tuchague kiongozi ambaye atatuongoza pahali sisi tunataka. Sisi si mbuzi ama ng'ombe ati tunapelekwa kwa zizi. Sisi ni watu tuko na akili Mungu ametupea, and we can decide the better for our country. Mimi naomba Mungu Wakenya wapewe uwezo ama kuelewa kwamba nchi yetu pahali inaelekea ni pabaya sana, and we don't want that. We want peace. Otherwise, Bernard, thank you so much for the opportunity. Najisukuma tu pole pole, but I'm getting better than there before. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mami. Thank you, and get well quickly. Take it easy. We will pull through. This country is in the safe hands of God, as much as there are those powers that would want to turn it into their own personal property. I believe they cannot get away with it. But as Kenyans, let's also be responsible. Take responsibility, sweep your doorstep, get things lining up. And then, of course, raise questions where questions are necessary. Like this issue of IEBC, let's not joke with it, because a corrupt IEBC means corrupt elections. Corrupt elections means rigged elections. Rigged elections means wrong president, wrong governor, wrong senator, wrong parliament, wrong everything. And so if there is any place we must keep our eyes fully open and we must not compromise, is in who goes to lead the election process. And as a country, we have a history of rigged elections. 2007, 2013, 2017, 2022, all of them were rigged elections. Now, that means in this country, the best expertise are those who rig elections. And what is the result of rigged elections? Wrong leaders, squared pegs in round holes, round pegs in squared holes. And what is the outcome? The country continues to spiral down every passing day. I just saw an article on how much our universities are owing. Okay, it's so bad that the more we are talking about paying the debt, the more we are sinking into further debts. Why is that the case? Poor governance. And there is Kumekucha gave an analysis on the William Ruto doesn't just have a local problem, he now has an international problem by the outstanding leadership of Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Now he's become the yardstick, where every president in Africa needs to tell us, how are you measuring compared to Ibrahim Traore? And so we are no longer being deceived, this is that, this is that. Kenya got independence 1963. Burkina Faso got independence 1960. What is going on? Why are we still crippling about everything? Burkina Faso now has free education from nursery all the way to university. The university students are being paid for studying. You are paid for studying instead of you paying to study. And we are still here fighting over 7 people that are going to be leading IEBC. We can't agree on the 7 people to go and give us to be in a body that is going to preside over a free, fair, credible election. We want to corrupt them before they even get in office. Can't we just do things neatly, cleanly, and leave everything to work out according to the stipulated rule of law? Must we corrupt everybody and everything? That's something that we need to do some soul searching as a people. And I'm talking this generally because the society is falling apart, that we want to corrupt everything and everyone. The police corrupt, the teachers corrupt, the lecturers corrupt, education corrupt, healthcare corrupt. You go around this city. I live in the city called Nairobi, okay? And look at the mushrooming number of chemists, okay? Mushrooming number of, we have a chemist on each and every building, okay? And that chemist is stocking some drugs. Some of them are very questionable. Some of them have expired. Some of them are not healthy. But somebody is still determined. He wants to sell it to somebody without thinking about the risk it's bringing. It doesn't care about the lives he's risking. He doesn't care about other people's lives. All he cares about is how much he can make. And so this level of corruption is reaching levels we cannot tolerate anymore. And therefore, as a people, let's wake up and demand. I want IEBC more urgently than anyone else, but I don't want a corrupt IEBC. I don't want an IEBC that is going to serve an individual. I want an IEBC that is going to conduct an election. And when the election is over, it's going to be like 2002. It's going to be like 2005. 2005 when we did the referendum, and 2010 when we did another referendum. But this other corrupt system that is out to rig an election before the time for election arrives, tuache uovu. Alafu tunasema bwana asifiwe. Asifiwe na nini? Asifiwe wapi? Well, let's get busy. Thank you so much, Mami, for that opening. Lala, nimekuona. Jaribu urudi, inaonekana mitambo iko na shida, lakini tuko hapa kuhakikisha kwamba tunaangazia masuala haya kwa njia iliyo wazi, njia inayoeleweka. So the petition is on. IEBC is held. I mean, wameweka break mpaka hii kesi isikizwe kwanza, ndio maneno ya vetting iendelee, labda hiyo ofisi imalizwe. Lakini kwangu mimi hii ni mwiba wa kujidunga, ni mwiba wa kujidunga. Tusipokubali kufuata sheria, sheria itatunyamazisha, sheria itatuzuia kusonga mbele. Kwa hivyo haya mambo yote kwangu mimi ni mwiba wa kujidunga. Nani alisema Ruto aende kuinterfere na IEBC panel? Nani alisema tukue na external forces zina interfere? Ati watu wamekuwa shortlisted, watu wameitwa interview, alafu baadaye tunaleta watu 6 tunazika hapo ndani, tunasema hawa pia wako kwa hiyo list. How now? We did that so that we caused this mess. That means somebody doesn't want IEBC, or he wants an IEBC that will not do what it's supposed to do. So why should we hire people, pay them salary so that they don't do what they are supposed to do? Are we okay that we put up a whole commission, give it a budget, and the reason why we have that commission is so that it does not do what it's supposed to do? What kind of a country is this? I need to hear what you think. Watu wa TikTok, asante sana, naona likes zinapanda. Tafadhali hakikisha una like video, alafu maoni yako unaweka hapo kwa comment, tutasoma, wengi wa Wakenya watasikiliza. Nashukuru kumwona Reverend Lala na kuleta moja kwa moja ukachangie hilo, then we switch gears on the advisors of President Ruto. Lala.
Bernard, it's good to see you. Missed you. I think yesterday we couldn't make it. And my sister, I think Kairu, been a long time, Mama. It's good to see you, to hear your voice, and all of you in the background.
Nice to see you, Lara.
Wonderful. Just joined in when you guys were talking about the IEBC. I think we have a problem, and the problem is that trust is gone. When trust is gone, you're really in trouble, and I think we are in trouble. And that is, it's almost as if it is difficult now to have somebody whom we can all agree is acceptable, because the divide is there. But God is good. He's given us some brain, some way of verifying someone that can take that lead. We know people that have lived, virtuously right. They have been consistent. They're good. And the sad thing is that we don't give them any chance because of the politics and because of the craftiness and the, I don't know what it is. So it is so difficult to be able to find the right person. So I think IEBC is in trouble, especially if the top people have a vested interest. And we know very well that Kenya's problem has been because election, corruption, and nepotism, tribalism, all these things have been allowed to thrive. And to me, I think that's the danger that we have here. one of the things that I've been thinking about is, most of us think of Wakinyonga. There used to be a guy, a little older, as old as me. This was the worst criminal in Nairobi, and was a bank robber. And I think he was killed. And people were so happy that this man was killed. But when you think about it, Wakinyonga may not be as bad as someone who sabotages an election, because every election cycle, those who sabotage the election actually are the ones that are directly responsible for the death of many people that have been killed. Those thousands and thousands. It starts with manipulation of votes. It's the stealing of votes. So I don't know, when we go before God, some of the people that we think are great because they never touched a machete, a gun, but they are behind the scene planning and scheming and lying and trying to steal election, and that has been going on. Even some people that we think were great, but were participated in that. So before God, I think we have a trouble. We got to face this particular challenge. So in my mind, unless we really become human, because when because of stealing election, people died, and then now you step back. We didn't do it, somebody else did it. You are just as responsible. If you read the Bible carefully, there are things that God punished, and you wonder why. But it's because those things kind of was the trigger. It's what began the whole process of the evil that came on the way, on God's people's way. So Wakenya wenzangu, hii uwizi wa kura na manipulation of IEBC to get people there that will work for you. I pray that this doesn't work because of what technologies we have, plus good people that will be there to make sure that we do it the right way. I think if we don't do it the right way, I don't think we're going to have a country. That's my sense. The young people are not retreating. They're not. It's as if there's a silence anger, and it's so deep that the thief themselves this time will not survive. And the sad thing, we have seen these things happening, and when you begin to go down, you're going down with a lot of innocent people around you. So I pray that we do it right. Whoever it is that will take care of election and other people around him or around her, let's do it right. But right now, it is so hard to have a trust, on some of this. And I think even if a different method is used, there's still going to be a lot of questions. But at the end of the day, Kenyans must rise up and say no, stop to this death, because anytime you see an election, there are lines, there are people that are going to die, and their blood will be counted on you. You'll be shocked when Christ comes, when God comes. You'll be shocked. Many people, they're driving, they're flying, they're all these things. You'll see the number of people that they have killed simply because they stole an election and they triggered what happened in the past and what will happen if they keep doing the same thing. So to me, it's very hard to have trust. Of course, whoever is in there may be good intention, but you see, the water's been muddied, so it becomes very difficult people to trust. And when there's no trust, the perception is sometimes perception is worse than reality. So and that's why I think whatever we do now, let it be done right. If people have a question mark, make sure you correct it. Do the best you can to make things right, or else I don't think we're going to have a country. That's my take on the subject that you guys raised. Back to you, Bernard.
Okay. Thank you so much, Reverend Lala. And an important reality there. I can't help but keep this question ringing behind my mind. These people who are committed into corrupting IEBC so that the IEBC fails to conduct a credible election, would they be comfortable lying in bed in critical condition and be given a quack doctor, an incompetent doctor, a doctor that doesn't know what he's doing? Will they be comfortable being taken care of by such when their health is online? Why would they be playing with the health of the country, that we are in a critical place like this, yet they still want to corrupt the way for a clear, well-drawn out roadmap on how to get leaders? I mean, if you open, it's just like you've been given the responsibility to be a gatekeeper so that you stop evil people from entering. And then you choose as the only person who has the key to that gate. And if that gate gets opened and evil people get in the city, they will mess up the city. Then you go and open the gate for all the evil to come in, because when the evil is in, give you something. At the end of the day, when the whole city collapses under the evil you allowed in, would you be happy about it? So these double standards, that there are things we can corrupt and things we can keep clean, it doesn't work. The standard needs to be the same, strict, the same way you are strict when it comes to your health care. Be strict when it comes to the protection of the country and the protection of the welfare of the Kenyan people and the protection of an election process, because hakuna njia ingine ya sisi kupata viongozi isipokuwa kupitia nini? Kura. Na sisi tukiharibu hiyo process ili tupatie mawash, itupatie drug barrels, itupatie all the corruption that is around, when we give them authority, we take a thief, we put him in State House, tunampatia funguo. We take another thief, we put him in Central Bank, tunampatia funguo. We take another thief, we put him at the head of the police, tunampatia funguo. At the end of the day, what are we looking for?
But Bernard, I think this short-sightedness on our people is really bad. I'll give you an analogy of a young man. It's called Dr. Simwe. Dr. Simwe is a Ugandan. And when, after graduating from Makerere University, he was posted as a young doctor in northern Gulu area. And then while he was there, he got a scholarship to study in Britain. So this young doctor used to come back to Kampala, almost taking a bus the whole night to go get his papers from Makerere, from the registrar, to be able to complete his application. Okay. This particular registrar kept this young doctor almost a year, not getting his paperwork. And later on, of course, he lost the chance to go and study. Okay. Then after a year, he was now brought back to Kampala to work at Mulago Hospital, which is really the big hospital there. And one morning, the senior doctor tells him to go and prepare surgery. There's an emergency that has come to the hospital. And so he gets ready to go do surgery. And when he enters the particular room, whom does he find? The lady who had actually kept his papers, and now, only he lost his chance to go to Britain. And the woman is told me, Abel, the woman was trembling. And all of a sudden, the woman asked for a phone, and they called her office, and because the woman was scared. This man is the one going to do surgery on me. They didn't talk about it. I mean, he was just watching. And then Asimwe went to tell the lady, he said, you know what? I'll take care of you. Don't worry. We don't do things the way we do them in your office. But I will take care of you. You'll be well. And Asimwe tells me that before the week, the papers had come, but Asimwe told them, you know what? I lost it. But then that when God opened a chance for him to come to the US. Okay. But that's exactly, how there are people, they don't know that whatever they are planting, just like Haman, it's going to trap them. There is no free lunch. Whatever you do will come back to you. So we had to save our nation and let God use all of us, use you, instead of killing your people, shooting your people, messing the election that's supposed to help your children, your family, your life. This is for all of us. If we do it right, it is what you send your children to school to do. So you take them to school and then you're kind of telling them they can't work because you're stealing and putting wrong people in offices. This is what is the problem, the kind of problem we have with our people, the short-sightedness and lack of critical thinking, knowing that actually we are digging our own grave. So it's sad, but back to you. I don't know what to say.
Well, thank you, Reverend Lala. That's a good, important illustration of our situation, that we want the best, but we are doing the worst. We want a country to work while we are putting stumbling block on each and every system that should work freely. It is sad that the people we gave authority to govern are now using that authority to frustrate the progress of the country. And this needs to come to each and every Kenyan as a great lesson. A great lesson. When it comes to leadership, any form of tolerating fault, it is setting one up for a fall. The leadership guru, Dr. John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. The moment we are not strict on how we get leaders, we have lost it. And this is the one place that I want every Kenyan to awake to. The moment we lower the standard of who becomes a leader, who qualifies to serve in public office, that's where we lose the battle. These other things, fighting corruption, controlling government expenditure, all this man of things, it is because of the quality of the people we are putting in office. Look at what Ibrahim Traore is doing. He has rejected the salary of the president. He says he's an army officer, and whatever that is due to him at his rank as an army officer is sufficient. He doesn't need to take an extra salary simply because he's working in the president's office. He has refused to change the kind to the luxury cars that the presidents of Africa are displaying around, wasting resources that would have been put to proper use to help the majority of the masses. That's an example of leadership. There's no leadership without self-denial. There's no leadership without saying no to many of your comfort so that you make a difference in other people's lives. But look at what you're being treated to. Somebody goes to parliament and the first thing is to be given 5 million for the car, another 5 million for the house, then another 5. So we go to parliament to be comfortable. We don't go to parliament to serve and protect and ensure that the welfare of the Kenyan people is secured. So something needs to happen. We need a paradigm shift on what kind of leadership we should provide and what kind of leaders we are putting in the position of leadership. All this things that we are putting in parliament and every other place, they must be sieved thoroughly. Wasiruhusiwe kuingia kama hawafai. Kwa nini shetani alitupwa kutoka mbinguni? Kwa sababu alikuwa hafai. Na angekaa hapo, angecorrupt kila mtu. So akatimuliwa. Mbona sisi tunafikiria sisi tutakuwa wazuri kuruhusu shetani na mapepo yake wakuwe viongozi, lakini sisi tuendelee kuwa walokole? Haiwezekani. So as Kenyans, let's rally together. Na tuache hii story ya kusema mtu wetu is from our region. If he's corrupt, he's corrupt. If he's not providing leadership for the country, he's not providing leadership for the country. Let's stop all these excuses. Ati wameongoza sana, wachia hawa waongoze kidogo, hawa nao wataongoza. Sio community inaongoza, ni mtu mmoja anayeongoza, na kama anaharibu kila kitu kinaharibikia kila mtu. So IEBC, wherever, that commission has to be well put together. If it's not well put together, let them not conduct an election. And like any other examination, if our local exam body cannot conduct a credible examination, we get it internationally. Let's get an international body to conduct an election for us. Because if we are working with a corrupt system, there's no need of having an election because it's already rigged from the word go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the president's advisors and the row it has brought in parliament today, that the allocation for the president's advisors is more than that for the counties. You can imagine on how corrupt we are becoming as a country. Well, let's take a short break. We come back with that story, and then we'll also be looking at the Murang'a Bishop who has sent away the politicians with their gift and tells them to go and take care of the masses. Their number one responsibility is not to charge ministers. Their number one responsibility is to their electorate. Something is happening in the country. Leaders and religious leaders in particular are waking up to the reality of not being used anymore by politicians to be conduit for evil.
At Sound Candid Talk, we help your event, trainings, shows, and so more to the world through internet broadcasting in UHD. We provide from 1 to several camera setups and integrate graphics to live in your live streams. For more information, contact us through +2547 18454585 or email at soundcandidtalk@gmail.com. Reach on us today. Tunazunguka kote kote mchana kutwa kukuletea taarifa na matokeo ya habari kutoka pembe zote za ulimwengu. Jioni tunaweka mduara wa kujadili taarifa zizo hizo kwa mapana na marefu. Ungana nasi kila siku ya wiki kwenye matukio ya siku saa 2 jioni kwenye Sound Candid Talk. Matukio ya siku, makao makuu ya habari kuu ya siku. Wa Mungu, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Kipindi cha mahubiri kimerudi tena kwa kishindo kwenye Sound Candid Talk. Tunakufundisha, kukuelimisha na kukutia moyo kwenye Daily Bite. Mafundisho kamili ya Biblia kila siku kwenye runinga uipenda ya Sound Candid Talk.
Marriage is one of life's most monumental decisions. It's not just about the wedding day or the ring. It's about committing your heart, mind, and soul to a lifelong partnership. But here's the big question. Are you really ready? Introducing Are You Marriage Ready? By Bernard Ngozi, a transformative ebook designed to guide you in building a successful and fulfilling union. This essential resource delves deep into personal growth, compatibility assessment, and the true meaning of marriage beyond the fairy tale. Learn how to reflect on your values, develop emotional resilience, and evaluate your relationship to ensure compatibility. This book opened my eyes to areas I needed to work on and helped me see my relationship in a new light. Jessica M. Available now for just $5. Are You Marriage Ready? Is accessible on all major platforms. Don't miss this opportunity to prepare yourself for one of life's most beautiful journeys. Follow the link in the description below to download your copy now. Empower your future. Embrace a fulfilling marriage now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is Sound Candid Talk, open forum political discussion show. We are looking at the leading stories, the IEBC nominees, the court case to ensure that they are being put in office is in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. Well, while that is going, there is an altercation about the president and his advisors. There are members of parliament who feel the number of advisors to the president is enormous, and the budget is, weighing heavy on the shoulders of Kenyans, and the results are not impressive. So what's going on? Let's hear this story and then we weigh on the same. Thank you very much. Keep it here. Karibisha mtu, piga kura yako. Subscribe kama uja subscribe. Asante.
Njoki Shege is our sign language interpreter. Tonight, it has emerged that some of President William Ruto's advisors are on the same pay grade as cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries, earning at least 1 million Kenya shillings a month in salaries. Appearing before the National Assembly's Administration and Security Committee, State House Controller Kato Olemitito defended the spending on advisors, saying they had helped the president to make sound policy decisions on, among other issues, the reduction in the cost of living. Emmanuel Toh kicks us off with the following report.
Even as questions linger about the ever-increasing number of President William Ruto's advisors against his promise to reduce the tally by half last year, the details of the cost of hiring the team of about 20 members has remained under the wraps until Wednesday. State House Comptroller Kato Olemitito telling the National Assembly Administration and Internal Security Committee that some of the advisors are paid as much as the cabinet secretaries.
It is good to shed light to this committee in terms of how much each advisor is paid. The range is actually some are at the level of cabinet secretaries and others are at the level of the PSS. So, I could say the lowest is at job group T. Yep. TUV.
A CS is paid a basic salary of 594,000 shillings, with allowances including housing, medical and transport, pushing the number to over 1 million shillings a month. A PS, on the other hand, is paid a basic salary of 491,000 shillings, with the allowances also stretching the payslip near the 1 million shilling mark. The employee on job group T, U and V earning upwards of 170,000 shillings. Olemitito explaining the disparities in the salaries paid out to the team.
They are based on what job groups they come in, and their speciality as well in terms of expertise.
Questions have also arisen as to the need of the advisors, some who are rejects from cabinet, with their roles often overlapping.
The policy, the model of economical transformation is really working, right? We know where the shilling was when the new government came in. We had an exchange rate of 162. We had 128. We had the price of local commodities like foodstuffs. And all those policies being enacted, they emanate from these policy advisors and the research they do.
For the national anthem.
Parliamentary records have shown that the cost of onboarding the advisors gobbled up to over 1 billion shillings annually, with the cost rising with the addition of advisors. Although the court slammed brakes on the chief administrative secretary position, pundits have argued the president has replaced them with advisors. These are the budget of senior government officials, including retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, ODM leader Raila Odinga, former Vice Presidents Kalonzo Musyoka and Mudi Awori, who served during retired President Mwai Kibaki's tenure, suffered significant budget cuts. Kenyatta's office, which was hard hit, will lose 94.6 million shillings from his 300 million shilling allocation in the budgetary allocation for the next financial year. State House has been allocated 8 billion shillings in the financial year beginning July. Emmanuel Tor, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Okay, Reverend Lola, there you have it. Would you consider advising William Ruto?
First of all, I'd like to comment on some of those guys trying to justify, the strengthening of a Kenyan shilling, so stabilization of Kenyan shillings as a mark that whatever it is it's doing is working. These people must understand that when we talk about monetary policy, these are measures the government employ to activate the economy, and it could mean actually sometimes lowering the value of your money so that you can attract more buyers to come in, also to strengthen it. So the fact that the dollar is less expensive, than before, does not mean anything. How is our export? What has happened in those critical areas? So, in my mind, I think these guys are not genuine. And now let's talk about the amount of paycheck that, first of all, our system, our parliamentarian and others, are some of the highest, if not the second highest paid on earth. Okay? It means they take more money home than a US senator or a congressman. Okay? And look at the US economy. Look at what the smallest man can earn here. So here's a country that the lowest paid, there's no salary. They don't know what they're going to eat tomorrow. And then they're hearing of somebody making over $1 million every month. It is, I think it is sin. I think cannot be defended. I think it's wrong. I think we are probably the worst enemy of ourselves. So to see the government itself justifying a bunch of people, the executive that is, to give this amount of money in the name of advisors is another robbery that has been employed to steal from us. And I think it's high time Kenyans just put our feet on the ground and say no, because nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. We got to bring certain, I think PLO call it hygiene. Look at Traore. Traore, life has not changed. He has the same Jeep, dressed the same. Every single cent is going towards the economy. And I wish all Kenyans should, the young people, listen to his interview that he had in Russia, okay, about his understanding of what is wrong and right in the continent and how things ought to be done. I think will help us answer this question, because to hear of this guy is making this amount of money when they're already rich. I mean, and they're offering nothing. And this bloated payroll that the country has, which is choking the country to the point where we cannot develop economically because there are too many Indians, too many chiefs, but very few Indians. That's an analogy of, in other words, the top bracket take all the money. There's nothing really to be able to put down here. And for Ruto to tell me that he has not enough advisors from the ministry. Each ministry has got technocrats, has got other people that can advise him. I don't think it even needs, more than 3 or 5 advisors. I don't think he needs that, especially when you already have the CS is there, the PS is there, the directors, I think they are there. The embassies are there. There's already inbuilt group of people that will be able to help. If maybe somebody, 1 or 2 people that are available, it can help. But still, these advices can be given for free. There are people that have held some of these jobs. They are available. They are senior citizens. They are there to give advice. Okay. And so this to me is pure robbery. And it is wrong, it is evil, it is sad. It is why we are poor, why we're going nowhere, we cannot develop economically. And to see those so-called guys trying to justify how this money is being used, to me is a very sad thing. Back to you, Bernard.
Okay, thank you so much, Reverend Lala. It is strange on how we want to have dedicated advisors on permanent terms when advice is not a basic need. I imagine like you are getting married and then you need to hire 5 advisors and you'll be paying them salary to advise you on matters marriage. I mean, it doesn't make sense. William Ruto is not the first president in this republic. We have had his predecessors. They have governed the country, one 15 years, another one 24 years, another one 10, then another one 10. All this, we're not having all this madness of keeping people, calling them advisors and putting them on payroll. Advice is something you go for when you need. You cannot have a hired wherever group of people calling them your advisors, and they are fleecing the country in the name of payment. I mean, you should have 1 or 2 people who are on payroll for being your advisors. But this other advice, you can look for it, you can hire for it, you can go, like when Kibaki was having a problem with the running of the country, he went to visit Moi. He didn't hire Moi. He went to visit Moi for wisdom. What do I do for this to happen? And Moi told him, go get the wherever provincial administration back, ensure that is in place. Now, this aspect of having permanent advisors, to me, doesn't add up. It is just an avenue for getting money from the treasury and sharing it with your friends. That's all I can look at it, because there isn't much that is needed in terms of advice. You have 21 cabinet secretaries. Those are your advisors. You have a president. That is your advisor. You have an attorney general. That is your advisor. I mean, what other advice is William Ruto need? Does William Ruto need? And so, to me, this is a joke, okay? We don't have the resources, yet we are misusing the resources in the name of hiring people that are unnecessary and are uncalled for. Look now what we have begun in the name of provincial administration, what they're calling Jukwaa la Usalam. Now they are going everywhere, hiring and creating locations, creating sublocation and hiring extra staff. And now they are claiming now they should train chiefs and give guns to chiefs. You see, we create problem instead of solving a problem. And so to me, William Ruto doesn't need any extra advisor. His cabinet is sufficient. His associations are sufficient if he needs candid advice. Kalonzo Musyoka is there. Uhuru Kenyatta is there. Raila Odinga is there. Which other advice does he need? He doesn't need to hire somebody to be permanently in his office advising him. If he needs that, then he's incompetent. He doesn't have capacity to lead. That's why he has to be on support machine. That's not it. So running the country doesn't mean you rely on advice for everything. You should consult, yes. You should get different opinion, yes. And that's why there is the government structure. That's why there is a cabinet. That's why there is judiciary. That's why there is parliament. When things don't make sense, you consult. Call the president of the Supreme Court. This matter is troubling me. How do we go about it legally? If what the Attorney General is telling you is not making sense, talk to the Chief Justice. Those are people who are already on payroll. They are being paid. Talk to your Deputy President. Bring up the matter in the cabinet. Let your cabinet secretary give you views. If that's not satisfactory, then consult with the parliament. There is all manner of resources around. And so to me, what is being talked about, multiplied number of advisors, they are not multiplied number of advisors. They're just friends who wants to gather and eat what is there. I have never seen any leadership that depends on advice only, because it appears the greatest pay we are making is for advice. We don't need that advice if that is the kind of leader we have. A leader is a leader because he can make decisions and he can consult and make decisions fast enough to ensure that the country is being run, not that he's chasing after the country. So, hii ingine ni corruption too. Kwangu mimi, I don't think William Ruto needs those so-called permanent, pensionable, hired advisors. If he needs advice, he can ask Museveni. He can ask any president in the world, he will give him advice. What advice does he need? Ruto was born in this country, raised in this country, studied in this country. I have no any record of William Ruto going to study even in Uganda. He never crossed the border to go and study. So what advice does he need about this country that he doesn't have already? What advice is he looking for? Legal?
Bernard.
And then what's the purpose of the Attorney General if you cannot give legal advice? What's the reason for judiciary? Or the president can only relate to the judiciary when he has been accused or taken to court. I thought the judiciary is the custodian of interpretation of law. And when things are not making sense, you should seek their counsel, their advice. This is very annoying. I think hii nchi inahitaji tu kubadilishwa moja kwa moja. Kabisa kabisa. Watu waonyeshwe mlango. Kama ofisi imekuzidi, wachia wale wanaweza. Sio wewe ukae kwa ofisi umekwamia kwa ofisi. Ile hali unataka kushikiliwa. Uko na advice wa makeup, uko na advice wa dress up, uko na advice you are going out, or coming in, or going in. You don't need all this. It's a waste of public resources. Huku education imekwama, healthcare imekwama. Lunch ya watoto tu, lunch ya watoto. I saw Madam Rachel akilonji sukuma wiki. Okay, she's calling it what? Garden, kitchen, what? I don't know, but this country needs help, bro. Needs help. So go to Nakuru, you go to Baringo, You are launching farms where they are growing sukuma wiki and osuga and these other vegetables. You say you are working on the wherever national kitchen. I don't get it. Can we wake up and realize that this country needs leadership? We have children who are already on the way. They want to run, they want to take over, and they are not ready, and the country is not ready. Where is our sense of urgency? We're busy lining ourselves, frustrating everything. We don't want nothing to work because we believe in corruption, and we want corruption to be the order of the day. Appointment with trouble is waiting. Everyone must wake up and appreciate that we cannot play with this country forever. Well, in the interest of time, let me bring in this video and then Lala can weigh on the same. The ban on the frustrating of Kenyans on the internet by switching it off because you don't like what's going on in social media. Let's see what the court did.
The government has been barred from shutting down the internet during demonstrations. The High Court in Nairobi has granted conservatory orders sought by a consortium of civil society organizations who argue that the government had violated fundamental constitutional rights by shutting down the internet during last year's anti-finance bill demonstrations.
The petition by 4 organizations led by the International Commission of Jurists cite the internet shutdown in June of last year at the height of the anti-government protests as one of the reasons they wanted government barred from undertaking such action in future. The 2023 and 2024 shutdown
sorry, I seem to have a hiccup. Ladies and gentlemen, just hold on. We'll soon sort that out. My audio and where is this? Okay, there is somebody manipulating my system. These enemies of progress. Well, let's get that story and then we move further. I don't get why people should not mind their own business and come to frustrate our show.
The government has been barred from shutting down the internet during demonstrations. The High Court in Nairobi has granted conservatory orders sought by a consortium of civil society organizations who argue that the government had violated fundamental constitutional rights by shutting down the internet during last year's anti-finance bill demonstrations.
The petition by 4 organizations led by the International Commission of Jurists cite the internet shutdown in June of last year at the height of the anti-government protests as one of the reasons they wanted government barred from undertaking such action in future. The 2023 and 2024 shutdown of Telegram during the national examinations was also stated as what the petitioners termed as a violation of constitutional rights and freedoms. According to the petition that names the Communication Authority of Kenya, the CS for Information, and mobile network operators as respondents, the shutdown of the internet and the suspension of Telegram were undertaken without any court orders from the courts. High Court Judge Justice Bahati Mwamuye issued orders barring CAK, the CS, and mobile network operators from unlawfully causing, directing, enforcing, implementing, or allowing to be implemented any whole-scale shutdown, blockage, denial of access or service, or causing to become offline the internet or internet data services, telephony services, electronic communication platforms, social media platforms, and applications, sites, or similar services and facilities. The petitioners expressed fears that the government could repeat such action during future national examinations, protests, or elections. The conservatory orders will be in effect until the case is heard and determined. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
And the interior.
There you go, Reverend Lala. You can weigh on that. Lala, are you there? We can't get you. Reverend Lala. Your mic is on and we can't hear you. Uko sawa?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Go ahead now.
Give me a second. My communication is not good.
Okay, just okay, sort it out and then come back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There is how a government operates, especially when it's about to violate what is for the public interest. You remember the saga of Malala and the Butere girls drama on the echoes of war. Somebody went to comb into the rules and regulations and came up with one ridiculous rule and regulation that only teachers who have been authorized by TSC should write plays and should be able to prepare the students to prepare the students to do the drama and then participate into the drama festival. Now, all this came from nowhere in the sense that government looking for an excuse to violate the law or to violate public interest. Now, this is what we are being treated to here. An excuse is there that there will be rigging, or rather the leakage of an exam is there on Telegram. Then instead of them addressing the leakage of the exam, they rush quickly to switch off that particular internet service. Now, that rushing quickly to switch off that internet service is not one addressing the leakage, is not even attached to NEC and things like that, but it is a platform, an entry point, where when such a matter will rise up, they will now shut down another platform, then shut down another platform. And before you know it, they will be able to shut down the whole internet simply because they don't like what we are posting or what we are discussing online. And so I don't want us to, treat this thing as lightly. It is not lightly. The moment a law is violated and there is no an uprising, there is no resistance to the same, it becomes a norm. And when it becomes a norm, we will eventually lose everything we have gained. And you know that every right and every freedom we have, especially in this country, none of it came freely. Each one of it came by blood. And so we can't trivialize it and we can't play games with it. And so this attempt of trying to operate outside the Constitution has been the order of the day of the William Ruto regime. Those of you who've been around and closely observing the operations of William Ruto and his administration, he is one president that doesn't operate within the provision of the Constitution. He will look for anything but the Constitution in executing whatever he wants to do, especially if what he wants to do is not clearly provided for in the Constitution. He will do anything just to make sure that that happens. Remember the housing fund? Remember the Hustler Fund? Remember this issue of Shasha Shoshu? And all manner, there is nothing William Ruto has brought into effect that has not had legal battle. And each of those legal battles have ended up into finding whatever he introduced as being unconstitutional. So we are dealing with somebody who likes to operate outside the Constitution and taking advantage of the weak part of the Constitution. And so if we allow this switching off of Telegram, the next will be switching off of the internet. And so I salute those who have taken the matter to court. I salute the provision of the conservatory orders, and I would want them to be cemented once and for all. If William Ruto wants to lead this country, he has to do it within the framework of the Constitution, and any other president for that matter. And if you cannot stand the freedom of Kenyans as their president, resign. That is it. Because kama kazi imekushinda unataka tufanye nini? We will not stop breathing simply because you can't stand our breathing. No, You either are able to lead us when we are free, or leave us alone. Go and lead your slaves elsewhere. As we want our freedoms, and we will deal with our freedom responsibly in doing what we are required to do as responsible citizens. And so we really want as Kenyans to be vigilant. Let's be able to, smell this kind of operations that want to, cause us to go back to the dark days. Let us resist it completely. And therefore, don't just, succumb to whatever it is that they are suggesting that we accept and move on. There is no accept and move on. We must be a free country indeed, and our freedoms need to be guarded, protected, and each one of us must stand up for the same. And so I'm happy with the ruling of the court, and I would want that to be cemented. The government should be able to allow the internet to operate, allow Kenyans to congregate, allow Kenyans to interact and exchange views. This business of trying to regulate how people should think, how people should, relate, how people should operate, that is not your responsibility. As a government, you need to create conducive environment for all these freedoms and these rights to thrive. That's your responsibility. And anytime you stifle those rights, you stifle those liberties, you create problems for yourself, because we will resist, we will fight, because we are not letting go 1 inch of our freedoms. And so I really appreciate that we have people with eyes are seeing things from afar and stepping up to stop them before they rob us what we got not on a silver platter. I'm happy with those developments from the courts of justice. And I pray that that will be concluded rightly and get addressed completely. The government should stay off social media, should stay off the internet, should stay off the freedoms of Kenyans. They should just take responsibility, take care of each and every Kenyan, provide for each and every Kenyan, and make sure education is working, healthcare is working, our road network is working, our air space is working, our railway transport is working. That's the responsibility of the government. This other one of who am I greeting, who am I associating with, who do I talk to online, who do I greet while I'm on X, that's not your responsibility. Just stay in the office, do what you're required to do, and leave us to do what we know to do. Until what we are doing begins to violate what you are rightfully provided for in the Constitution, then get whoever that is wherever violating the law. But this aspect of looking for an excuse to shut the internet because you don't like what we are doing on the internet, hiyo hapana. Hiyo tuta resist mpaka dakika ya mwisho. Hiyo ni lazima. Okay, thank you very much. Big J anasema hiyo swala la Gachagua ana launch party leo. It's already 26 minutes after 1 a.m. East African time. Kuna party ambayo inakuwa launch na Gachagua, na nilikuwa naandaa video ya Gachagua. Mimi nataka kuanalyze Gachagua vizuri kwa sababu mimi simuelewi. Bado nafanya uchunguzi wangu lakini simuelewi kabisa. Gachagua anasema ana launch party. Okay? Ana launch political party ambayo itabeba kila mtu. Okay? Lakini wale anataka afanye kazi nao, hataki wakuje kama political party, anataka wakuje kama communities, kama tribes. So anataka Wakisii wakuje na Kisii leader, anataka Waluya wakuje na Luya leader, anataka Waluo wakuje na Luo leader. So is he creating a tribal party or is creating a political party? Hapo ndio mtanielewesha. Lakini mimi sishiki kabisa. So akienda Ukambani anasema Wakamba washikane kama Wakamba. Akienda Kisii anasema Wakisii washikane kama Wakisii. Waluya washikane kama Waluya. na hiyo masuala yote, ili wakikuja kwa negotiation wakuje directly. They are negotiating with who, where, about what? I'll be dealing with that. I think the video will be ready by tomorrow, and I'll be uploading it on Sound Candy Talk Live. But maswala yanaendelea katika nchi hii yanaudhi sana. Yanaudhi sana. Yani ni kama watu either hawataki constitution ama hawaheshimu constitution. It is even illegal for him to be talking like that. So now he's condemning Matiang'i that he doesn't look like he has the backing of the Kisii community. And so he's standing in doubt of him. Hey. Wacha nisiharibu mchuzi. Big J wende umechochea hiyo, lakini the more things change, the more they remain the same. May God save this country. Well, Fraha, thank you. I can see you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue with the conversation, let's switch gears and look at another story, even as we try to redeem time. Well, I also want to encourage us, if you have not participated in the poll question, it's on Sound Candy Talk Live, piga kura yako, kama William Ruto apunguze ma-advisors ama la. Ilo jibu lako ni la muhimu. Then kabla upige kura, give our video a thumbs up. It's important. It helps with our ranking. And then, of course, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. It is important for you to be a subscriber. And when you subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our programming. But for TikTok, like this was Jatosha. At Jafikisha 1K kwa nini? Let's do the likes, please. Let's do the likes and ensure that we are sharing the live. Get more people to join and flow with what is happening. A short commercial break, and we come back with the story of the Murang'a bishop sending away gifts that were meant to seduce him. Well, let's see what happens, but we're back shortly.
Watu wa Kawangware, haleluya! Salmist Abel na Isaac wakishirikiana na wilaya ya Rusinga PAG Kawangware wanakuletea Racing a Sound Worship Night. Katika maisha yangu amba na unide kwenye kisondicho sikidukanga wamevujira moni udi amba unide uyesu amba. Ni Juma hii tarehe 16 Mei 2025 kuanzia saa 3 usiku hadi majogoo katika kanisa la Revival Apostolic Church Kawangware kwenye stani ya Kayole Ndogo Ndwaru chini ya uongozi wake mchungaji Asava. Mhubiri mkuu wa siku ni Kasisi Liki. Nyimbo za sifa na maabudu zitaongozwa naye Gifted Peace akishirikiana na Hallelujah Sounds of Worship. Karibuni nyote tujiunge na the dynamic duo tumwabudu Bwana Mungu. Kwa maelezo zaidi wasiliana nasi kwenye 0799772022. Usikose.
You've dreamed about the perfect wedding, the dress, the vows, the happily ever after. But let's ask the most important question. Before you say I do, are you truly ready for the lifelong commitment that comes after the honeymoon period fades? Bernard Ngozzi's groundbreaking ebook, Are You Marriage Ready?, is the ultimate guide to building a successful, lasting marriage. This isn't just another relationship book, it's a heart-to-heart conversation that prepares you for one of life's biggest decisions, getting married. Are you choosing love or just infatuation? Are you building a marriage or just planning a wedding day?
Reading this book was a game changer. I realized I wasn't as ready as I thought, but now I'm on the right path.
Don't wait until it's too late. Invest in your future. Download Are You Marriage Ready today. Link in the description below. Your future spouse deserves the best. Are you ready?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Sound Candid Talk. Mambo ni kama hayo, watu wakaongware, basi kesha ndio hiyo imeiva. Usikose na ushirikiane na wenzako tunapoabudu Mungu kwa pamoja. And then na kuhimiza pia hakikisha kwamba wewe una sample hicho kitabu ambacho tunakuelekeza kwacho. Are you marriage ready? And it's not just for those who are single, looking for how to mingle. It's for everybody that has anybody that they can counsel on matters marriage. Information acquired is information that is necessary. It may not be necessary now, but it will be required of you hereafter. Niko na msemo huwa natumia, nasema wakati mtu anakuuliza swali na unasema haujui, hiyo siyo jibu kwa swali ambalo umeulizwa. Okay? I don't know is not an answer. It's a confession of your ignorance. And so the only way for you to be ready with an answer when a question is placed is to seek more information, especially on life lessons. And so I encourage you to get that book. You can download it directly to your phone or to your tablet or to your computer. And we are still giving it out on an offer of 300 Kenya shillings only. You pay directly online, you download for yourself, and begin to read right away. Thank you for those who have already gotten it and those who are planning to. Please work on the same. I want, before Lala comes in, as we begin to do the home stretch, listen to this bishop and be able to balance maswala aliyosema na yale ambayo tungependa kuyasikia. Here we go.
A 50 million shillings gift from the County Assembly of Kirinyaga for leading them in this year's annual Thanksgiving service as the church steps up its vigilance on accepting monetary donations from the political establishment. Wainaina in the same breath refused a goat bought for him by the MCS and directed the members of the County Assembly to instead forward the gifts to Keregoya School for the Deaf as part of community service to the people who put them in office. Here is Kamau Mwangi with more.
They walked up to the pulpit after Mass, hoping to receive more heavenly blessings by gifting the man of God for leading them in this year's annual Kirinyaga County Assembly Thanksgiving service.
This is a public service.
In hand was Kenya shillings 50,000 in a white envelope that the Kirinyaga County Assembly Speaker Muteti Muremi hoped to deliver to Bishop Maria Wainaina of the Murang'a Catholic Diocese on behalf of the over 30 county legislators as well as the Assembly staff. This white goat was also meant for the man of cloth. He rejected it.
Ile ambayo ni ya pesa tuwasaidie wale ambao wako na shida sana.
While reminding the MCAs of their sworn duty to the Kirinyaga citizenry, Wainaina asked for the gifts to be taken to a nearby school for the deaf in Kerugoya as part of their responsibility in looking after the people who put them in office.
Kwa vile ni viongozi wa umma, si ndio? Basi wale ambao wako na shida sana hata zaidi, hao ndio tunataka sana sana waweze kupata ni manufaa ya kazi yetu, na nimeshukuru sana.
All the leaders could do, given the rejection, was to make a request.
Sasa hata hii tunataka uiombe as we take to those kids, ikuwe na baraka yako.
This incident comes with the church increasingly adamant about not accepting donations and gifts from the political class that has in the recent past used the pulpit to endear themselves to Kenyans. Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV.
Karibu mambo kama hayo, sadaka kukataliwa na kuelekezwa kule ambao inafaa kwenda. Reverend Lala, your take please.
Bernard, you know, it's good to see a church taking a stand. I don't know whether they're taking a stand because of the recent events. It's not genuine from the heart, but I think theological position should be such gifts should be directed to the ministry itself. Yes, there are cases where people have been blessed, and that's no problem. But even when you look at the New Testament, Ananias and Sapphira, the gifts seem to have been going to the ministry. Yes, the ministers got to be blessed. You know, they gotta use it. But I think we live in a time when those that division has to be very, very clear, because there are some of us who have decided to be rich off of our gifts. I mean, God's gift to us. And so the question is, when is it my personal funds, or when is it the church, the ministry fund? Especially if God is using me as a minister, I'm the anointed, and whatever comes out of that anointing, is it purely mine, or is it supposed to be part of the ministry? And I think this is something that we really need to pray about and ask God to help us, because even the New Testament, the founding of the church, the day of Pentecost, they were all together. They are in one accord. There's a sense in which they are movement. They were a team that collectively shared. So whatever comes in was for the ministry to decide. But this modern times where we have a lot of personal ministries. So if I have a ministry, it is Abel, it is Lala, and then everybody else come behind me. It was the apostolic church was very, very clear. It was a teamwork. And so I think we have to really define, especially when it comes to money. Okay, I think it should be all gift. Is it a personal gift, or is it for the church? And if it's for the church, let it just be clear, because even Ananias and Sapphira, you know, it was their free will to give what they had been blessed with. I think the danger here is, I think where we are not very clear here is God has a way of doing things sometimes which is not the way we do them. And there's a time when God can do bless you. But even if it's a personal blessing, which of course somebody may say this is for you alone, but I think if we are humble, if we see ourselves as part of a team, then you simply become someone who is holding whatever you have on behalf of the brethren, so that whatever you have can be used effectively. And I'm saying that to say this, that the old missionaries did a tremendous job. And when you visit some of those churches they came from, they were very simple churches. They gave, the little they had. But out of that little giving, we had the Alliance, the Mangus, and all these health centers in Kenya. All those wonderful things were done. And it's because they were giving it, to the glory of God. But then we come to a point at the time where personal ministries, and yet we don't see very little around what has been accomplished, on the ground. So I think we really need to be careful. So I applaud the pastors for saying no, because they know where that money is coming from. And I think if most of us made such stand and let people know they can be bought, we belong to Christ, we belong to the highest office, and this cheapening ourselves to be bought with silver and coin, I think that's the toughest thing. And I think it is I think it's Thomas Aquinas and somebody else when he had visited the big church St. Peter's in Basilica, and he was there meditating, and he was not very happy. And then he was asked, why are you not very happy? And he said, you see, silver and gold we have here in plenty. But what we don't have is in the name of Jesus, rise up and walk. In other words, the focus was on money rather than in the name of Jesus, rise up and walk, the power of the Spirit. Okay, back to you, Bernard.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Lala. Interesting. Silver and gold, we have plenty, but what we don't have is in the name of Jesus, rise up and walk. That's a clear picture of what's happening in our world today, where everybody's asking, where is the Lord God of Elijah? And somebody said, God is asking, where is the Elijah of God? And so something must go on in the church that will fix whatever that has gone out of joint. There is very credible information that Omar Said has sent me, and it's concerning about the lie that you talked about on the exchange rate. Okay, the shilling exchanged against the dollar in August 2022 at August 5th of 2022, the shilling was exchanging against the dollar at $1 going for 119.25. That was the exchange rate before Uhuru left office. The people that presided over the shilling going up to 160, it was not the Uhuru Kenyatta administration, it was William Ruto's administration. So when they tell us that the advisors have helped them to recover the shilling from 160 to 129, oh, these advisors came when you have presided over the shilling and made it fall in its value against the dollar to a level that has never happened in the history of the shilling. I need you also to remember that the shilling was handed over to Uhuru Kenyatta when it was exchanging against the dollar at 95, 96 to 100. And in 10 years, the shilling dropped from what? That 100 to 120. So in 10 years, it moved from 100 to 120 averagely. But for William Ruto, getting office in less than a year, the shilling dropped or skyrocketed from 120 to 160. That is record breaking. We have never had that. So in 20 years, in 10 years, 20 shillings. In less than 1 year, 40 shillings. Something is wrong somewhere. And so when those people go to TV and they want to deceive Kenyans that William Ruto is working around the clock, is helping the economy, when he is the one that has worked in making the shilling fall, and then he turns around and says he has made the shilling stand, for what? The shilling has never gone back to 119 when he was handed over the country. It was at 119. It has never gone back there. And that is inexcusable because the pattern is 10 years, 20 shillings. So if it's on the third year and it's already at 29, forgiving this other one, is still a failure because it is not, explainable on how it can jump to that level. What drastic thing happened? We have not had war. We have not had any crisis to the monumental crisis that would help or rather would cause the shilling to fall to that level. And so those government officers that are explaining failure. You know, the easiest way to come out of failure is to accept it. As long as you're looking for it, a Christian name, you garnish it, you look an excuse for it, you continue swimming in it. On up, you don't know. I have a proverb from my senior, Bishop Addo. He says he has written, it's a book. He has a book called Succeeding Successfully. Succeeding Successfully. So he has a proverb in the book. He says, a blind man with the right guide is better than a man with two eyes who doesn't know where he's going and is too proud to ask anybody. Okay? A blind man with the right guide is better off than a man with all his eyes working, but he's lost and he's too proud to ask another person where he should be going. And so we seem to have a government here that is lost, a government that is confused, a government that doesn't know what to do, but they are too proud to accept that they don't know what they are doing and seek help. Instead, they are hiring advice after advisor, hiring this, try this and try that and try this and try that. Come on. Kenya deserves better. And we have better brains in this country that can help this country thrive. Let us fix our leadership and stop the games. And so I salute that bishop, and the politicians need to be shown their behavior. This aspect of politicians coming to church and taking over the church service must be stopped. Somebody needs to have a nerve to tell them to sit down and be quiet. That is God's house. It's not your house. It's not your parliament. It's not your state house. In your state house, you can control us. But in the church building, no, we are the ones in charge. So you can't come and tell us what to do and what not to do. It is that simple. And so we really need to have support for such, because the way it is going is like politicians have now taken over. They have that sense of entitlement. And if they come to church, they need to be given microphone and address the congregation. And then they come with their little shillings here and there to try and throw around and show on how they are building the church. Jesus said, I'll build my church and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Jesus is the one building the church. Stop coming and pretending to be the one building the church, and without you, church cannot continue. This church was here before you, and it will be here after you. So humble yourself and follow due process. Thank you very much. Unless Reverend Lalo, you have something, tumsikilize mama yetu tunapoanza kufungasha masendio hayo.
Okay, wacha usikie mama tu.
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Lala, for the opportunity. In fact, what we have learned during this fake leadership, because I call it fake leadership. They have tried all the fashion. They want to experiment with our country, but it has all failed. We thought these are people like Uyu Jambazi Ruto has experience of how he knows the country can be ran, but not me, for those people who voted for him. Maybe they thought this guy has been in government for this long. He must be having a lot of experience. Lakini, it's a thuggery. It's a thug in the bank. Hawezi andika mtu ambaye amekuwa thug in all corners where there is money and you expect things to excel or things to go well. Kwa hivyo mimi kama mtu Mkenya mzalendo, my country needs to be led by somebody who really has got empathy to people who he is leading. Kiongozi hawezi kuja kutuonyesha vile yeye ni muuaji, vile yeye ni muimbaji, ni mtu wa kuiba, mwizi. We don't want those experience. Because I think Kenyans, they are sober, they want to have their own life comfortably, controlling their own family, taking care of their life in whichever way they want to go, but not being bad people. Kenyans want peace, and Kenyans want somebody who is ready to lead. Na mtu asifikiri Wakenya ni kupiga tu anapiga kelele. Wakenya this time around, they have really faced the wrath of a thug, somebody who is never ever to be trusted anymore. Mtu ambaye anajua kweli anaongoza nchi vizuri. You don't go looking for thugs or for people who will unite with you to do wrong things. You look for people who are humble, people who are ready to guide people to the right way so that they don't complain. Sasa Ruto anataka kutuambia Wakenya ni kulia wanalia tu for the sake of crying. He should go and sit down and think what he has done wrong for this country to be where it is. And I believe he knows he has been very bad person. Ndio sasa unasikia anasema ati sijui amefanya makosa, msamehe. How many times are we going to forgive this guy? And he has never ever done anything good to this country. Nitarudia tena. Wakati yule alikuwa na cabinet wakiwa na Uhuru, mlisikia ile majina yote ilisomwa mpaka watu wakaamuka pale walikuwa wamelala. Wakashindwa, and we didn't notice this. Alisema nini tena? Ati mnichague sitarudia hiyo makosa tena. That thing has hit me so bad. Na nikashindwa watu wanafanya makosa wakijua kwa nini. Wakenya, hamukusikia hiyo neno huyo mtu akisema. Hamukupigwa na butwa siku ile hiyo majina yote ilisomwa ya kabila yake. Now, sit down and read how many names you read about his countrymen, his tribe. Sisi si wa kabila, lakini sometimes you have to respect other tribes. You have to respect the country which has got 41 and over tribes. Kunawezekanaje kabila moja ndio inakuwa na hiyo mamlaka ya kushika zile viti kubwa kubwa? Na tukiangalia tunaona hata nchi ni kuanguka inaanguka because of those people. People who are just quiet doing very, very serious and dangerous things to our country. Sasa nchi yetu inaenda chini. Tukisimama pale tuseme nchi yetu inaenda chini, nani wamepeleka chini? Si ni hao tu? So why should he even come to tell us ati watoto ambao walichukuliwa tuliwarudisha kwa wazazi wao? I would like to see parents who are enjoying or rejoicing their children came back and they are in peace. I would like to see. Ni wazazi wangapi wamepoteza watoto wao mpaka waleo hawajawahi kuwaona? Huyu mtu anadanganya nani? Anadanganya huyo mzungu ambaye hata haishi kwa nchi ya Kenya. Why should you even lie? Ruto will never ever see the light of good life. Atakuwa doomed. Kwa sababu hii vitendo zote ni yeye amejitendea. Hakuna mtu ametoka huko barabarani akaenda kumtendea. He is the person doing bad things to himself. Na kwa hivyo sisi hatuna huruma na wewe because hata wewe huna huruma na sisi. So you go home. Think about how you can keep your life together and think about your life alone. Sisi hatutaki kusikia hiyo mambo ya kusema another time. Another time for what? Where are we right now? Ruto, look at Kenya where it is right now. Ndio ati tukuchague, ati tukupee chance ingine. Ya nini? You've been there I think over 30 years in these governments and you have never ever done anything that you can be proud of that you have done for Kenya. Kenyans will never even think that they will have somebody like you ever, because you have deteriorized their life, the country itself, and who knows tomorrow if you get this government again, what you will do. We are not going to risk ourselves again Tumejaribu, watu wamejaribu, wameshindwa, wameona wewe mtu mragai, mwizi, muuaji, everything, name it. Ruto must be down, must be left alone. Wacha tukimalizana na yeye, hata yeye awe na mashtaka ya kutosha, apate kifungo chake kile atapata, because I would wish this guy to live and see how Kenya will thrive, so that he can know the wrong things he has done to this country for the longest. Any ministry that he got this guy, it never thrived. Ni kumaliza alikuwa anaimaliza. Angalia habari ya hiyo mambo yote ilikuwa ya pesa ya Kimorel. Hiyo pesa yote ilienda wapi? And yet this guy want to tell us that he didn't do anything wrong. But my question is, if you never did anything wrong, why are we getting all these big mistakes, dangerous things that you have done to Kenya, while you are trying to evade all those you did during those days when you are in Uhuru's government? Mimi hata kuamini kwangu, hata hao watu wanaambiwa hapo Rivayala nini, Ruto must be involved. I'm sorry to say so, because hata siku hizo kuna watu walikuwa wanapotea na kukichunguzwa unasikia jina ya Ruto inatajwa hapo. Ruto si sasa ameanza kuua, ameua from the word go. Na kwa hivyo tukiwa na evidence ya yule mtoto waliogonga akaenda akamunyonga, that gives you the evidence that this guy can do anything with somebody's life. So hatuna kiongozi hapa, ni muuaji, mwizi, mtu ambaye hana haja na maisha ya watu wengine, na tumeona mara nyingi ile mambo yote Ruto amefanya nchi yetu. In fact, this guy is a horror of the country. So for me, I would say Ruto must go, aondoke kabisa, na hao watu wake, hata wao, they have some questions to answer. Everybody there is not clean. They have blood in their hands. Asante Bernard. I'm happy to have those words aired. Asante sana. Thank you for the opportunity. Asante.
Thank you, Mami. Thank you. Point clear. Ladies and gentlemen, let us lay to heart these issues. The country will never fix itself until we who are the custodian of that particular country take responsibility. The transformation we are witnessing in Burkina Faso, because somebody said enough is enough. As Kenyans, we must come to that place. Enough is enough. Let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing for our children. Let's do the right thing for our children's children. Let's do the right thing for the country. We have tried corruption. We have, polished it. We have made it, become something else. Now let's drop it. Just do the right thing. Get right leaders. Get those leaders to do the right thing and see Kenya become #1 in the world. But as long as we are dodging the right thing, avoiding the right thing, corrupting the right thing, there's nothing that is promising for any one of us. Well, as we begin to call it a day, Reverend Lala, you can add something, or let me just get this so that we speak as we close.
Nairobi.
Interior and National Administration Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says President William Ruto's pronouncement that abductees had all been reunited with their families was not an admission that the government was behind the abductions. In a strange twist to happenings, the Interior CS says the Directorate of Criminal Investigations should investigate and tell Kenyans who was behind the abductions. The Police Inspector General Douglas Kanja, who exercises command over the DCI, is on record as, however, saying that the police were not involved in the abductions. As the government takes Kenyans round in circles on the abductions, families with missing abducted kin insist the president's position was not reflective of the reality and continue to demand the return of their kin.
President William Ruto's assertion that abductees have been reunited with their families has opened a Pandora's box over whether or not the government is involved in the Gen Z abductions and kidnappings in the country. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen further complicating the government's stand on the abduction and kidnapping menace by saying that the state does not know the identity of the abductors.
We want to know who abducted these people. That is the crux of the matter, and that is the work of the DCI. That is the investigation that is ongoing.
Citizen TV visited families who say their kin were abducted by unknown persons and have never returned home. Family members whose identities we have concealed for security reasons say they are living in fear following persistent threats from unknown persons.
The moment walikuja hata hawakutaka kuingia kwa nyumba. Wakaniuliza kama ni mimi naitwa mama so and so. Waliniambia niendelee kusema tu mtoto alipotea. Mi niende nitafute mtoto wangu kwenye ninajua na nisirudi kupatikana nikitangaza kwa social media ama kwa radio yoyote ama TV ati watoto walipotea. Juu ni kuonyeshana na onyeshana president ni muongo akisema hakuna wakati wa maandamano hakukuwa na watoto walipotea, watoto wote walirudi.
One such family says their beloved was abducted during the anti-government protest by Gen Zs and has not resurfaced to date.
Nimesikia juzi president akisema ya kwamba watu wote wameashiriwa wako kwa mama zao. Mimi wangu hajakuja.
A section of human rights groups have termed President William Ruto's remarks as confirmation that government agencies were behind the kidnappings.
We are ready and willing to present these families to you. So in case you are getting information that is not factual, in case people are misleading you, we are here and we are ready to give you the true facts as they are.
The Interior CS spoke in Marsabit County, where 201 firearms and 1,892 ammunitions were confiscated from conflict zones and displayed during the Jukwala Usalama Security Assessment Forum in Marsabit County. Multi-security agencies in operational zones heavily rely on such armored personnel carriers in order to eliminate persistent security threats. Seth Olale, Citizen TV, Marsabit County.
There you have it. Yes, Lala, take it.
Yes, Bernard and Mama. My closing words are very simple. Recently, we lost a member of parliament who was killed. And one of the things that has impressed me is the way the DCI and Nairobi system methodically have followed the case to the very person who shot the MP, if what we are watching is what actually happened. So it is very encouraging. And that tells me that Kenyan police are well trained. They are well equipped with gadgets to help them do the work. And to me, that is very, very encouraging. What is discouraging is that if all these gadgets are available, if all this trapper training are available, then why haven't we had any convictions, any arrests of some of these people that have been tortured and even killed, the murderers, the criminals, and others? Why is it that when it came to the MP, of course, they went and looked for these people, if that's the truth. But the majority of Kenyans, young people who did nothing but protest, protesting the injustices and just looking for a way to live, with dignity, whether the job, take care of their parents, and yet we don't know where they are, some of them. We don't know what happened to them. No one has been arrested. even when we saw on television the face of the people doing this job, do you tell me that this gadget cannot find out all these people that have been doing these things? And for government to say that they didn't do, had nothing to do with it, is simply laughable. It is simply laughable, and it's actually portraying them as incompetent, as criminal themselves, as really as part of the problem. If we accept that they did know where these people are, then what they're telling us about the Nairobi, the way the training and all the things that we've seen, work that was done towards getting this particular MP, killer. Of course, we don't know the killer. We don't know who hired the killers themselves. We still have to find out. If I go by that, then the government stand indicted for the death of all these young people that have been killed, and for McMurkomen to come out to tell us that that the president did not mean, but he meant that something else is laughable. What we know is that government is responsible, even if they didn't shoot, but their job is to be able to tell us who did it and why they did it, and who are these people behind, that can come to people's home and without knocking and abduct you, and there are so many of them operating, and they tell me government of Kenya is incompetent to do that. Murkomen, please give us a break. We are angry, we are upset, we want answers for all these people that are lost, parents, families, brothers and sisters are traumatized. Some have buried their own. And so Kenya is waiting to hear what the government has to say. And if they say they have, like what Murkomen is telling us, let's say maybe that's his personal view. But what we know as Kenyans is that this administration is 100% responsible for the loss of this family, and they should at least investigate, bring closure to the cases by convictions, and Kenyans knowing what happened. Or else, what you leave us with is anxiety, anger, confusion, loneliness, pain that cannot heal till justice is done with all the cases. Thank you, Bernard, and thank you, everyone in the background, Mama, and others that are listening, wherever you are. Thanks. Back to you, Bernard.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Lala. We appreciate it so much, and important questions there, ladies and gentlemen. We need to think deeply about each one of them. Murkomen and his defense for the Ruto's or interpretation of the Ruto's statement doesn't add up. Ruto knows all the abductees have gone home. Ruto knew where Muturi's son was and who had abducted him when Muturi went to see him and demanded for his son. Wakenya wajinga waliisha Kenya. Tuache hii story ya kujaribu kufunika kitu ambacho kiko wazi. Ukweli usemwe. Nchi hii inastahili kupona kabisa kabisa. Mama, make your submission as we close, please.
Thank you, Bernard. When we have somebody like Murkomen defending undefendable, that is a problem in a country, and there will be no any stability with such kind of people. Watu ambao hawatakubali makosa yao wanaendelea kutuonyesha vile they are, I ask myself, Bernard and Lala, these people, they go sit on a table and start thinking, how they are going to swindle Kenyans' mind, how they are going to lie to Kenyans' mind. But they forget we are the people who are suffering. We are the people who are seeing all what is happening. Wewe Ruto, tumana watu wauawe. Wewe Murkomen, simama hapo, anza kutoa hiyo mashauri yako, kutuambia kile unataka kutuambia. But everything stops at your door. Kama nyinyi ndio mmechukua usukani wa nchi, lazima mtuambie watoto wetu, watu wetu wameenda wapi, nani amewaua. Up to today, since 2024, hatujawahi kusikia mtu ameshikwa ati huyu ndio aliua fulani. This is Subaru people. Where are they coming from? Kwani mmefungulia jangili waingie kwa nchi zetu, waje watutawanye, watuue, watumalize? Those are things that you should be answering, Murkomen, with your boss, ambaye yeye ndiye mnyonyaji, ndiye mwasiliaji wa haya mambo yote. Because a president who stands with his country ought to have arrested these Subaru people, and we see their face. Why are those people let to be in the country while they are covering their faces if they are legitimate people? If they are people who are supposed to be doing what they are doing? Tena mtoto anashikiwa nini kusema ati yeye hataki ile mambo inaendelea Kenya? Amekufanya nini wewe raisi unayejisifu, unayejiona uko na security ya kukutosha? We are seeing all this and we understand that you can do anything to Kenyans just for you to remain where you are. But we are saying no. We don't want such a person, an animal in our office. Na kama unataka kukaa hiyo ofisi, ukae na usitoke na usikuje kwa wananchi. Wacha sisi tujichagulie kiongozi wetu ambaye atasikia maslahi yetu, mtu ambaye atatufikiria kama binadamu. In fact, our Kenyan children, they have been taken like vifaranga za kuku. Na unajua hata kuku yeye mwenyewe saidi anaona kifaranga yake amechukuliwa na mwewe. How that mother feels and how unstable she becomes. That is exactly what mothers in Kenya are feeling. Parents in Kenya are feeling. Na unarudi kuambia hapo watoto wao, mimi nataka kukuuliza wewe jambazi. Yule mama analia saa hii mtoto wake hajakuja. You wanna tell me she's faking? She's talking lies to Kenyans. She's just saying for the sake of saying. She has pain. Na wewe unajua wao watoto wetu walienda wapi? By the way, Bernard and Lala, there was a mention that was made sometimes back that there was a cremation that was being done in the barracks. How true was that? Because I just think it's so painful ati unaweza fikiria mtoto wako anaweza kuwa kwa hiyo rundiko la watoto kuuawa na kuchomwa. Kwani kumekuwa aje Kenya? Kwani sasa rais wa Kenya siku hizi ndiye amekuwa mashuhuri sana kuliko wale wote wameshakuwa kwa hiyo nchi? You cremate people's children without their authority. Umewaua kwa sababu hutaki waonekane unafanya mambo ingine maajabu ya ulimwengu. Naye Mungu pahali aliko halali. One day, one time, Mr. Ruto, you'll pay for this. This pain that you have indulged in people's heart forever, itakurudia wewe. Na wacha kusema hapo ati unajua umefanya makosa. We don't want any kind of feeling from you. You have done the most heinous things in our country, and we have seen it. We understand you are a bad person, and we don't want any leadership from you. We have seen what we have seen. We have felt what we have felt. Na huo uchungu hautaisha. Wewe enda nyumbani, utuondoke, enda ukatafute kazi ingine ya kufanya. Is better when you are out of our way, so that we can know how to tackle our problems in our country. Well, you are not a leader. You are a killer, a thief, somebody who can do anything to terrorize people's life. So for me, as a parent, as a mother, as a mzalendo Mkenya, mimi naomba Wakenya tafadhali, this time round, don't listen to any hooligan akijaribu kuambia hapo sijui nini. Hizi pesa zote wametuibia wakule, but they will never have peace in their life. Let's struggle and let's stand with our country and fight for our country for the final. This time round, Mungu ako nasi na atatupea nguvu. Tuko na enough evidence ya kutufanya kukataana na huyu jambazi kabisa. So for me, I ask Kenyans, let's work hard, stand up for your country, and let's have freedom again in our country. Asanteni sana, Bernard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mama Mary. We appreciate that. And Kenyans, I hope you're hearing and laying to heart. Hearing is one thing, laying to heart is another. Take serious matters the country's leadership. Please, don't joke around who you make your MCA. Don't joke around who you give power to become your governor. Don't joke with who you give power to become your senator, your member of parliament, your president. All those people matter. They determine the kind of life you will have. So don't joke around it. Ati umepewa shilingi 200, unaenda kupeana maisha yako kwa mtu ambaye hafai katika uongozi. Wakati umefika tufikirie. Let's do the right thing. The right thing pays. If not now, eventually. It is that very important. And so I really want to encourage us to remember that. And then, of course, as we call it a day, we want to encourage us to participate into supporting the channel. Please keep this channel running. Ensure that you are supporting the channel in terms of helping us pay our bills. Our StreamYard bill is already due tomorrow, and we'll need it paid. Let's also continue to support Frank. Frank is now a Sound Candy Talk responsibility until further notice. So let's not forget him. You know that we need to put his bill to ensure that he's studying and, of course, focusing in ensuring that he's able to vent for himself, and then we'll be able to withdraw from the support. In the meantime, 100% bills is on us as Sound Candy Talk. And so please, tusaidiane mambo haya, tuyafanye kwa umoja, na malipo unajua yanayotoka kwa Mungu ni bora kuliko yale ambayo yanaletwa na mwanadamu. Tukae na imani, tuhakikishe kwamba tunatekeleza wajibu wetu kwa njia moja au nyingine. Asanteni sana. Tukutane tutakapokutana katika kipindi kinachofuata.
Watu wa Kawangware, haleluya! Salmist Abel na Isaac wakishirikiana na wilaya ya Rusinga PAG Kawangware wanakuletea Racing a Sound Worship Night.
Katika maisha yangu ambana unide kwenye kisondicho sikidukanga wamevujira moni udi amba unide Yesu amba.
Ni Juma hii tarehe 16 Mei 2025 kuanzia saa 3 usiku hadi majogoo katika kanisa la Revival Apostolic Church Kawangware kwenye stani ya Kayole Ndogo Ndwaru chini ya uongozi wake mchungaji Asava. Mhubiri mkuu wa siku ni Kasisi Liki. Nyimbo za sifa na maabudu zitaongozwa naye Gifted Peace akishirikiana na Hallelujah Sounds of Worship. Karibuni nyote tujiunge na the dynamic duo tumwabudu Bwana Mungu. Kwa maelezo zaidi wasiliana nasi kwenye 0799772022. Usikose.
You've dreamed about the perfect wedding, the dress, the vows, the happily ever after. But let's ask the most important question. Before you say I do, are you truly ready for the lifelong commitment that comes after the honeymoon period fades? Bernard Ngozzi's groundbreaking ebook, Are You Marriage Ready?, is the ultimate guide to building a successful, lasting marriage. This isn't just another relationship book, it's a heart-to-heart conversation that prepares you for one of life's biggest decisions, getting married. Are you choosing love or just infatuation? Are you building a marriage or just planning a wedding day?
Reading this book was a game changer. I realized I wasn't as ready as I thought, but now I'm on the right path.
Don't wait until it's too late. Invest in your future. Download Are You Marriage Ready today. Link in the description below. Your future spouse deserves the best. Are you ready?